What if the biggest secret to building insane wealth wasn't owning a home? What if it was the one thing everyone tells you is literally throwing money away? Everyone thinks owning a home is the golden ticket to being rich. But a secret group of wealthy people know the real truth. For them, the real money isn't in a mortgage. It's in a rent check. And I'm about to show you exactly why. For decades, you've been hammered with one idea. Buying a home is the most important thing you can ever do with your money. That renting is just a dumb, temporary mistake. This idea is so huge that even questioning it feels crazy. But what if that idea is not only wrong, but is the very thing stopping you from getting rich? Now, let's be real. Most rich people do own their homes. Homeownership is awesome for a lot of people. But there's a strategic, secret group of millionaires who choose to rent. Not because they're broke, but because they did the math. They ignored all the emotional stuff and made a cold, hard, logical choice. They know the secret to wealth isn't locking your money in a house you live in. It's about making your money explode as fast as possible. Today, we are exposing this secret strategy. We're not talking about if a house is a nice place to live. This is a financial battle. We're going to break down the numbers, the secret costs, and the insane opportunity cost that everyone conveniently ignores. Section 1. The common myth, the problem. Okay, to be fair, let's look at why everyone says you should buy a house. These arguments are powerful, and they're not totally wrong, which is why this myth is so hard to kill. First, you've heard it a billion times. Renting is throwing money away. Every dollar you give your landlord is just gone. But every mortgage payment builds this thing called equity. They say it's a forced savings account, like a piggy bank you're forced to fill. For most people, their house is the biggest asset they will ever own. The second huge argument is stability. With a fixed-rate mortgage, your main payment is locked in for decades. No landlord can kick you out or jack up your rent. It's yours. You have control. You can paint the walls, destroy the kitchen, plant a tree, and all of it supposedly makes your house worth more money. And then there's appreciation. You buy a house for $400,000, and boom, years later it's worth $600,000 or $800,000, maybe even more. That feels incredible. It's the dream. All these arguments tell a story. Buying is smart, and it's the only way to get rich. But the millionaire mindset is completely different. They don't need to be forced to save money. They look at this whole picture and they don't see a golden ticket. They see a golden cage. They see a bunch of money traps the rest of us just walk right into. Section 2. The truth. Point 1. The colossal opportunity cost. The number one rule of this entire strategy is something that is completely ignored in most financial advice. Opportunity cost. And I'm talking about the opportunity cost of your massive down payment. When you buy a house, you take a giant pile of your cash and lock it into one single thing that's impossible to get out. Let's do a super simple example. You buy a $500,000 house. You need 20% down. That's $100,000 cash. Then you have closing costs, maybe another $15,000. So you need $115,000 in cash just to get the keys. Poof, gone. Normal people say, amazing, you just invested $115,000 in your future. But a strategic millionaire asks a totally different question. What could that $115,000 be doing for me if it wasn't trapped in my bedroom wall? Let's run the numbers. What if, instead, you rented and you invested that $115,000 into a simple S&P 500 index fund? Historically, the S&P 500 has an average annual return of around 10%. Let's be super conservative and just use an 8% return for this insane experiment. In 10 years, that $115,000 would explode to over $248,000. In 20 years, it would be worth over $536,000. In 30 years, that initial investment would be worth almost $1.2 million. That is the insane power of compounding. Your money is making more money 24/7. Now, look at your house. Yeah, the value might go up, but it's not a productive asset. It doesn't do anything. The money is trapped. You can only get it if you sell or go into more debt. A rich investor sees that $115,000 down payment not as a safe investment, but as a giant opportunity lost forever. They know that having cash is having power. It's the ability to move fast and jump on new opportunities. Locking up that much money in the place you sleep is putting all your eggs in one basket, and it is killing your ability to build wealth faster. Section 3. The Truth. Point 2. The phantom costs of ownership. The second reason the rich rent is because they know the true cost of owning a home. That mortgage payment you see? That's just the entry fee. The real costs are the secret ones that drain your bank account month after month. Let's start with the big ones. Property taxes. You pay them every year, forever. And when your house value goes up, your taxes go up too. So much for a fixed cost. Second, maintenance and repairs. People talk about the 1% rule, where you should budget 1% of your home's value every year for maintenance. On a $500,000 house, that's $5,000. But in reality, especially for older homes, it can be 2%, 3%, or even 4% a year. That's not $5,000. It could be $10,000 or more. And that's just the normal stuff. That doesn't include the $15,000 roof that starts leaking, the $8,000 air conditioner that dies in the middle of summer, or the basement that floods and costs $20,000 to fix. If you're a renter, the cost for these disasters is zero. As a homeowner, you pay for all of it. Third, homeowner's insurance. Another cost you have to pay, and it only ever goes up. And finally, the craziest one nobody talks about, transaction costs. When you sell your house, you have to pay real estate agents 5 to 6% of the price. On that $500,000 house, that is a $30,000 fee. It instantly wipes out a huge part of your profit. Selling your house can easily cost you 7 to 8% of its total value. Your rent is the maximum you will pay for housing in a month. Your mortgage is the absolute minimum. By renting, the wealthy pay someone else to take all that risk and deal with all that stress. It frees up their money and their time to focus on one thing: getting richer. If this is blowing your mind and challenging everything you've been taught about money, then destroy that subscribe button. We drop videos with secrets like this every single week, and you do not want to miss what we do next. Section 4. The Truth. Point 3. The Rent and Invest Reckoning. This is where it all comes together. We know renting frees up your cash and avoids all the secret phantom costs. So, what happens when a disciplined person rents and invests the difference? This is the final boss battle. Let's invent two people, both starting with $115,000. Person A, the homeowner, buys that $500,000 house. Their total monthly cost, mortgage, taxes, insurance, and a maintenance budget is about $3,500. Person B, the renter-investor, finds a comparable place to live for $2,800 a month. In many places, it is way cheaper to rent than to own a similar home. First, Person B invests their $115,000 down payment. Second, they invest the $700 difference every single month between their rent and the homeowner's crazy costs. Now, let's fast forward 10 years. Let's go! The homeowner has done pretty good. Let's say their house appreciated by 3% a year, which is close to the long-term US average. Their $500,000 house is now worth about $672,000. After paying their mortgage, their total equity is about $270,000. They feel like they won. But what about our renter investor? Their first $115,000, growing at 8%, is now worth over $248,000. The $700 they invested every month has grown to over $128,000. Their total investment portfolio is now worth over $376,000. In this experiment, the renter is over $100,000 wealthier than the homeowner in just 10 years. And all of their money is cash. The homeowner's money is trapped in the house, and to get it, they have to sell and pay tens of thousands of dollars in fees. Now, the biggest argument here is, but I'm not disciplined enough. And that's true. This only works if you actually invest the money you save. But we're talking about a millionaire's perspective, and being disciplined is the entry fee to getting wealthy. They see the forced savings of a mortgage not as a feature, but as a crutch for people who don't have financial self-control. So, what's the real truth? From a pure money perspective, the idea that owning a home is the only way to get rich is a dangerous myth. For a disciplined person, renting is often a faster, more flexible, and mathematically better way to a giant net worth. They choose liquid cash over trapped equity. They understand the destructive power of phantom costs. And most importantly, they use compounding returns to make their money explode by investing the difference. This is not me saying real estate is bad. In fact, most millionaires are heavily invested in real estate, just not the house they sleep in. They buy rental properties. They invest in giant apartment buildings. They buy commercial real estate. They treat real estate like a business that makes them money, not as a personal home that drains it. Buying a home can still be the right choice for you. If you want that stability, if you want to set down roots, and if you just love owning your own place, those are great reasons. But you have to know that from a pure financial standpoint, you might be picking the slower, more expensive path to wealth. Don't let a 50-year-old myth decide the biggest financial choice of your life. Challenge everything. Run the numbers for you, and pick the path that actually leads to the freedom you want. What do you think? Is your mind blown? Let me know in the comments below. And if you learned something, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss more financial secrets that nobody else is telling you. Thanks for watching.